Hi, my name is Joy, and I'm a sophomore student majoring in architecture and planning. Before I had joined the major, many people asked why I had chose the major, and most of my friends recommended me to change the major. I asked them why, and surprisingly, I had received the same response from all of them. They mentioned that they had heard about the field being highly competitive and challenging, and for sure I would be incapable of handling. When people see or use the word architect, they only see buildings, models, drawings, but behind those are always much more. In this slide are some images of models and site diagrams that architect students or architects needs to work on for their site. On the right was a site diagram that architect students in the sophomore major were told to work on for a month. And on the left is a site model that corresponds with the site diagram that we were told to study. While only audience can view these visually, but the amount of work and effort that architect students or architectures have made in building this site is much more. So here are some images I have found online showing experiences that architect students or individually architects have experienced when working on projects. But behind these hard works are many sacrifices. Architects stays in their studio long enough that it can replace their homes. The image presented on the left shows the working environment for architect students/architects. Their working environment is usually called a studio, where modeling and building stuff, diagrams, etc. would be done. As you can see on the right, they sleep in their studios. Time management in architect is very important, and every second, every minute used can affect their project outcome. As an architect student myself, usually studio time ranges around 3 hours from 9 to 12, but outside of class, we would have to stay longer, even till midnight, in order to complete projects. And so as an architect major student, I did have personally experienced having to stay overnight to complete work in the studio. So in my following slides, I will be talking about roles, survey statistics, and burnout avoidance. So before directly talking about the main topic, I want to introduce to you what architects actually do. When I interviewed people on what architects do, people most commonly reply back with, don't they build/design houses? Well, it can be partially correct. There are much more we have to do before actually designing them. Before working on a project, communication with clients and coworkers are a must. For architect students working on a project with partners, communication is also key in order to complete a project. They would usually have to communicate on project designs, cost expenses, material usage, etc. Team preparation is also important. Before a project is even done, they should communicate on who is doing what type of stuff, what should they prepare for the materials, etc. Research is a process that takes the most time. Before having to complete a project, they would have to do enough research. For a project that was done for my studio, we had to visit the site specifically multiple times. We had to experience the site before making the project. This is a very important step that we must not neglect. Following along with team preparation will be research. This is where people also research on the site, the topography, the weather, etc. Preparing project drawings is also an important step. Drawings usually have to be reiterated before successfully having a final design, and this usually takes a lot of days or even weeks or months to accomplish. For actual architects having to build houses, structures, etc., they have to also prepare for file construction permits and also document commercials and industrial developments. Lastly, the final step before having a project completed will be modifying plans in order to fit the client's vision and the sale requirements. And the whole step in all will take about a few months or even a year to do. For architect students, however, while time are very limited, architect students would have to do projects on a site for about 1 month to 3 months or so. So with a long process that each project needs to take, there comes burnouts. The following slide shows a graph statistic showing the cause of burnouts in the year 2021 for architects as well as its percentage. As we all know, in the year 2021 held the COVID pandemic, which impacted most people around the world. Many people were unemployed or chose to work at home or even unable to work, and therefore people were stressing more and more. In the year 2021, about 96.9% of architects surveyed experienced burnout. Out of the people also surveyed, about 87.1% of architects says their burnout increased due to the pandemic. So what are the causes of burnouts? Cause of burnouts may include having to work overtime/overload, insufficient workflow and process, unrealistic deadlines and or expectations, lack of support and or acknowledgement from leaderships, or people feeling disengaged from jobs, lack of growth within their firm, and others. So what are ways to avoid burnouts? Number 1, pay more attention to yourself. Remember that before caring for others, care for yourself first. When you're not in a good and stable condition, both mentally and physically, nothing works well. Number 2, learn to ask help. It's not embarrassing to speak up and ask for help. By contributing to ideas, opinions, and knowledge, you can boost your team and organization performance and improve your own personal standings. Similar to number 2, number 3 is to speak up. Never hold yourself. Do what you want and say what you want to say. Finally, number 4, take a break. Always give yourself enough resting time. Remember, don't force yourself, motivate yourself. Thank you.